In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a tray mount for the new Badlands 1.5 ton jack. A few tools to mention. You will need a welder, angle grinder, hole saw, drill bits, and a few hand tools. The material I used was a 12-inch by 24-inch 16-gauge piece of sheet metal and a piece of 1.5-inch angle iron. I also used the 8-inch roll pin and a small hitch pin clip. First, you want to gather your measurements. You want to create a U-shaped tray from the sheet metal. Bending the sides is the best method here. Most of us do not have a metal brake to make a 90-degree bend. An old trick to use is to use your angle grinder to remove some of the material at your bend measurement. You can see that I'm using a straight edge to remove some of the metal using the angle grinder. By doing this, it allows you to easily bend the two sides perfectly to a 90-degree angle. Be careful not to remove too much of the material. I use 2 pieces of wood to squeeze together the metal to make my own brake. I secure the sides with screws and use my hands to bend the metal at a perfect 90 degrees. Again, be careful not to remove too much of the metal. If you do so, your piece will likely break off or lose its strength. At this point, you want to set the jack onto the U-shaped tray you just built to mark out the resting points for the jack's front and rear axles. You want the axles to go straight down and slide to the front of the tray for proper securement. This is a very important step to prevent the jack from being lifted straight up out of the tray. Take the jack's wheels in considerations as this will affect your mount options and locations. Make sure your measurements are correct before cutting. I had to repeat the step several times until I locked in the proper placement. Next, I welded end caps to both sides of the box. At this point, you're ready to drill the holes and cut the slides for the axles that you previously marked. I used a 3/4 inch hole saw to drill out the corners of the slides to make a nice radius. Once your holes are drilled, you will have to remove the remaining slide material using an angle grinder. Once your holes and slides are cut, you also want to make sure you notch out the handles on both sides of the jack. At this point, your jack should drop in and slide forward into the tray. Minor adjustments may be needed. If you look towards the end of the jack, Badlands has a factory pre-drilled 1/2-inch hole to be utilized to lock the jack into the tray. I welded a piece of 1.5-inch angle iron to both sides of the tray with the flat side facing the factory hole on the jack. I matched up the factory holes on the jack and drilled through the angle iron matching the factory holes. I used the 8-inch roll pin that fits nicely across the angle iron and the jack. Again, minor adjustments may be needed here as well. To secure the pin in place, I just used a small hitch pin. As you can tell, the jack is firmly set and secured into the tray. From this point, mounting options are up to you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and like, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.